Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Newton County School System's Virtual Learning Experience, Day 1. I am Samantha Fury, the proud superintendent of this amazing school system, and I welcome you to our first session. Joining me today, we'll hear from Dr. Adam File, who is our Director of Technology and Media Services as well. But I'm going to get us started by sharing a little bit about what things will look like over the next few days. The purpose of our Newton County School System Parent Connect is to offer families opportunities to gain program information to help their students prepare for our virtual experiences. We know this is a new thing for everyone. We understand that it's a different time for school systems and education, and so there'll be lots of learning that we'll all be doing together, and we need to work together to ensure our students have the best experience possible. So each of our sessions will be designed in the following way. They'll be 45 minutes in length, and the beginning of each session, there'll be some explanatory information shared with you, and then there'll be time for questions later on in the session. Every session will be recorded and posted on the Newton County School System's website so that anyone who wants to access our videos later will have that access. Everyone's voices will be muted at this time, and question and answer time will be provided at the end of our conversation. You'll type your questions in the chat box, and presenters will answer them as time permits. And we surely appreciate that you're attending our session today. You're going to use the link to submit your questions, http://bit.ly/NCSS parent, where we'll be able to collect your questions and answer them towards the end of our session. In order to prepare to have a positive virtual learning experience, there are a few things that we need to talk about. The first thing is right now, our high school and elementary school students are picking up their Chromebooks from their schools. So our high schools are August the 24th through the 25th, middle school August 26th and 27th, and our elementary school pickup is August 24th, 25th, and 26th. And you'll just go to your school if you have pre-registered for a Chromebook and pick your Chromebook up. And if you haven't pre-registered, we're still going to take care of you at our schools. Then you will participate in our Newton Parent Connect, this is the first session. And the schedule is as follows. Monday, we'll have today's virtual learning overview. Tomorrow, the 25th, our curriculum and instruction team will join us and talk more about what learning looks like down into the details. Wednesday, August the 26th, we'll hear from Student Services and School Nutrition, where they'll give you more information about how we will take care of our food needs during the time that we're in virtual learning. Thursday, August the 27th, will be a day that we will have questions and answers and lots of information relative to our special education programs. And then Friday, August the 28th, student and family supports and after-school programming will be on deck to share with you the things that we'll be working on to support you and perhaps support you in an after-school program. Also, on Saturday, August the 29th, we'll have a parent university that focuses on digital tools and the training associated with those digital tools. First of all, we'll talk about Canvas, which is our learning management system, and how to navigate through Canvas. We'll talk about Infinite Campus, our student information system, where all of your students' data is recorded, including their grades, and a way for you to update your information through the network rather than having to come to school. My Launchpad, Zoom, internet safety and getting started with students on a resource page. So we're looking forward to the lineup that we have all week long in an effort to strengthen our partnership and collaboration to better meet the needs of our students in this very different learning environment from what most of us are accustomed to being served in. In an effort to prepare for the virtual learning experience, Complete the Getting Started with Virtual Learning checklist no later than August the 31st. More information will be shared at the Parent University training. So we actually have a day that there's a checklist for parents and students to go through to make sure that everything they need to have in place, or you need to have in place, is ready to go, so that when we start school, all of the kinks and most of the kinks, we hope we won't have any kinks, but if there are any, we'll know ahead of time in an effort to better prepare for the September 8th school date. Continue to visit the Canvas virtual resource page for parents and students. Information will be provided that will help with the virtual learning experience, including quick reference guides, tutorial videos, PDF documents, and anything that's available that we think will be helpful to you. Also, participate in your school's open house. Our elementary open house is Monday, August the 31st. Our middle school open house is Wednesday, September 2nd, and our high school open house is Thursday, September 3rd. And each of our elementary, middle, and high schools will share additional information about their specific open house programs. And then finally, we will start school on Tuesday, September 8th in our virtual learning environment. We're not really having a technical situation, but when I touched the screen, it expanded it. It would not let me move forward. So pardon my touching of the screen. Communication. So we believe that we want to do everything we can to be transparent with communication and consistent. And of course, we're always going to be honest with the data and information that we have available to us. And we understand that maintaining two-way conversations with stakeholders is essential to the work that we do. On our website, you will see that there's a section entitled Questions. If you have questions, you can go to our website and identify which area you have a question in, and then there is an email address associated with that department for you to reach out to get specific support in any particular area. Our public relations department is Ms. Sherry Davis, and she utilizes all of our communication tools, including School Messenger, which, if you do not have current information in Infinite Campus, if your data is not accurate and up to date, you won't receive School Messenger calls or emails. And it is my advice to all of our parents that you get that information up to date, because we use School Messenger frequently to provide updates and additional information. We also have a website that's very robust and includes plenty of information. And then, of course, we use social media as another avenue for communications. Our calendar. You can find our calendar on our website, and this is the approved calendar for the 2020-2021 school year. And as I've already said, we start school on September 8th in a virtual environment, and school ends on June 4th. So it's a little bit different than what we've been accustomed to, but because of the adjustments that have been made, we've moved the end date just a little bit further into June. And we've also had to adjust some of the days that we would normally have off during a fall break or a midwinter break. But rest assured, we'll revisit our calendar again this year, and hopefully we won't be challenged with a global pandemic or COVID-19, and we'll be able to resume a traditional schedule, which for us is a balanced schedule with a fall break and a midwinter break as well. Who participates in the Newton County School System's virtual learning experience? Presently, all students will begin the year in a virtual environment until it's deemed safe for students to return using the appropriate preventive measures and safety protocols. And perhaps you might not be aware, but in our school system, our board, in collaboration with our school system administration, has mandated the use of masks. And so everyone on our campus is required to wear a mask at all times. It is the one safety measure that we know for sure has an impact on the transmission of COVID-19. We actually went to meet with the chief medical officer from Newton Piedmont and the CEO from Newton Piedmont Medical or Piedmont Newton Medical. And that was one of the things that they re-emphasized with us as board members and superintendent, that they have not had any transmission of COVID-19 in their hospital from patients to employees or from employees to one another within the walls of the hospital. And they attribute that to the consistent use of masks. And so it's important for our community to understand that if we wear masks, a couple of things can happen. We can get back to school quickly, and we can reduce the community transmission of COVID-19. We will continue to gather information from health officials and monitor the situation in Newton County so that we can determine when we can safely open for in-person instruction. The Newton County School System virtual learning experience and the delivery of instruction. So we've got two options. The option 2 is a school-based virtual model where your child will be taught by a school system teacher who will follow the district's curriculum maps and use virtual learning software. They will use instructional technology, including the digital tools that I talked about earlier that will be discussed in our Saturday Parent University. This online model leverages the strengths of teachers and staff in supporting learning success of our students. Option 3 is a self-paced virtual academy model. Students have the freedom to adapt their schedules to accommodate other interests, and they receive instruction from the platform itself. However, our teachers and staff are assigned to the program to provide guidance and support in terms of checking attendance and answering questions that may come up. But they do not, the students in option 3 do not have a teacher assigned to them who is a Newton County School System teacher. The actual platform itself provides the instruction. When will the Newton County School System virtual learning experience occur? It is every day following a daily class schedule, and those schedules are posted on our website, sample schedules, and our classes operate Monday through Friday. So parents, what can you do to help make things a smooth transition for our students? The very first thing is to create a place that's comfortable and quiet for your students during the time that they will be online with their teachers. Establish a routine so that the students follow a routine, getting up in the morning, getting ready to go to school, having breakfast, and preparing for the day. Assess and adapt, and remember that this is a new environment for your students, and check in from time to time with them to see how they're feeling. Maintain a balance so that students are not being consumed all with just the virtual environment, but also have other things going on. Let them stand up and take a walk and come back to the virtual environment. Talk to your kids about what they're learning, ask questions about the content, and ask them to think about what the lesson might have been about. Ask for support if you need help. Offset screen time so that you know that your child is having other types of activities that don't involve looking at a computer screen, maybe playing a game, playing Monopoly or cards, or going outside and playing tag or running back and forth in the yard. Stay connected. Help your child find ways to stay connected with friends and classmates, even if that is a virtual environment. And then talk to other parents who also have children in the virtual school. Students, there will be expectations for online learning as well. And it's important to know that our student code of conduct, although children will not be in person, the code of conduct still applies even in a virtual environment. So make sure that you're on time, and you want to log into your classes about 5 minutes before the class starts. That way, if there are any snags or any concerns, you can try to get them worked out before you are required to be in class. Stay focused, limit distractions, be in a quiet room, no phone. Don't let your dogs and cats or your hamsters in the room with you. You can't have TV or music going, and keep your device stationary. Also, when you log in, you have to remember that everyone can see you. So make sure that you dress appropriately when you log into your class. You'll want to be dressed just like you are going to school. Now, I've been asked if you have to wear a uniform. Some of our schools require uniforms. No, you don't need to wear a uniform, but you do need to dress like you are going to school. Don't log in your pajamas. Log in like you're going to school. Be engaged and participate in discussions. When you log in, keep your device muted until it's your turn to speak, and be prepared. Make sure your device is charged and plugged in and have everything you need for your lessons nearby. Your textbooks, a drink, a pencil, and paper, and try to remain engaged the entire time. We understand this is new for everybody, and we will work together to try to address any concerns that you might have. Again, please submit your questions here. If you have questions, http://bit.ly/NCSS parent. With that being said, I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Fayal, our Director of Technology and Media Services.
Thank you, Ms. Fury, for that, covering that information with our parents. And a quick reminder, everyone, I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit longer. If you have any questions, comments, please make sure that you're utilizing the link. We'll be able to try to answer as many of those at the end of today's session. All right, so we will be passing out devices starting today at our elementary and high schools. The dates are listed here. You see August 24th, 25th, and 26th. They'll be distributed at your child's elementary school. We want to make sure that you check with your school's website because each school has identified the time and dates for grade levels they would like to come by and pick up their resources. So make sure that you're adhering to what the school has published. Middle schools will be the 26th and 27th. Once again, the schools have published their time frames and windows that they'll be distributing resources. High schools are the 24th and 25th, and those of you who are high school parents should have gotten the information off the school's website to arrange an appointment time to come by and pick up your resources. We wanted to make sure that we were able to meet the needs of each family. With that being said, you'll need to go to the school that your child attends to pick up the particular devices. So if you have students that are at 3 of our schools, you'll need to go to each school to pick up the resources necessary for that child. So make sure that's where you're picking those devices up from. We're going to be able to meet the needs of those who requested internet hotspots. You'll pick only one of those up, and the technician will let you know which school you'll be able to pick that up from when you are picking up your resources for your student. Some things that we're really excited about will be these virtual sessions that we're doing. Of course, we're having our virtual learning overview today. And after this, we'll have our curriculum instruction, student services, food, nutrition, special education, and our after-school programs and supports on Friday. But this Saturday, I'm really excited. We're going to have our parent university. This is going to start at 9, and we're going to have multiple sessions throughout the day, 5 different times on every hour that you can attend. And we're going to cover the overview to really get you started with your child with virtual learning. We want to make sure that you're able to sign into the platforms and that you know all the support structures that are available to you throughout your day. Because we know things happen. That's why we want to make sure we have 5 different sessions for you. So please utilize that time. And as always, they will be recorded and on YouTube to watch at your convenience. So with our parent university that I mentioned, what are we going to be covering? Well, we're going to be hitting the major tools that you're going to be utilizing. Zoom. I think everyone has been in a Zoom session one time or another since this pandemic started. But we're going to make sure that you understand how we're utilizing Zoom to keep your child safe. Here in Newton County, we have our own license for Zoom. So when our teachers are setting up their Zoom meetings, only users who have a Newton County email address will be able to access and view the Zoom meetings. This is going to avoid having unexpected visitors join our Zoom meetings. Also, we're utilizing Canvas, which is our learning management platform. This is going to be a way that your child will be able to access all their educational content, submit assignments, and have back and forth conversations with their teacher. And we're really excited for My Launchpad. Some of you may remember using Clever last year. Well, My Launchpad is going to be their one-stop shop for every resource they'll be utilizing here in Newton County. Once they sign into My Launchpad, they'll be able to access all the resources that their teacher and school and district has for them to utilize. And of course, Infinite Campus, this is going to be where you'll be able to keep up with your students' grade in their classroom. Now, when are these sessions going to happen? They'll start off 9 a.m. bright and early on Saturday. And as you see with our schedule there, they'll be every hour, except between 12 to 1. We're going to have a little lunch break. But then right after that, we'll hit the ground running with some additional sessions. So once again, pick the time frame that works best for your schedule, because they're the same session. Those be at 5 different times on Saturday. So you don't have to go to all 5. Just pick one, but find the one that fits your schedule this Saturday. Any questions, once again, make sure that you're posting those, and we'll try to answer those toward the end. All right, so these resources that we're going to have, we have developed a Newton Virtual Academy. We have, and with those, we have courses that are designed for parents to kind of go through, and you can understand how you can support your student in Newton County utilizing our resources. In this ever-changing landscape, we want to make sure that you, the parent, have the tools and resources that you're able to utilize and help your child. Canvas, we have a Getting Started with Canvas, so you can understand all the features that Canvas has to offer for you. As I mentioned earlier, Infinite Campus, we want to make sure that our parents can utilize Infinite Campus to check up to make sure that the students' grades are where they need to be. And if you have to do any redirecting, we want to make sure you have the resources you need. And My Launchpad, once again, everything that you need will be there in My Launchpad, all your resources, all your shortcuts and links in order to utilize our technology. All right, we're going to have our Title I parent continuous parent plan. So in this one, we're going to go over all the Title I resources that you have at your school site to make sure that our students and parents and guardians have the resources that they need. And this is really important, this acceptable use. We want to make sure all of our parents, all of our students understand what are they responsible for when they have our technology. We want to make sure that you know what's acceptable use of technology. And we're going to be constantly adding to this and revising this as various incidents occur or teaching opportunities, learning opportunities occur for our students, because we want everyone to have a safe digital learning experience. Because one thing we can say is digital learning is here to stay. And we want to have the students have the skills necessary to utilize digital tools each and every day. And we can't forget about social and emotional learning. This is really important now that some of our students are working from home and aren't around all their friends in a face-to-face environment. And things do occur, so we want to make sure they have the skills and they're equipped to be able to handle those situations. And of course, we all need a little help. So we have our help ready and willing to support you in those areas. All right. Now, we want everyone to know how to do what they need to do before the first day, because it's a little too late on the first day of school and you can't sign into things. So we created a little checklist that we want every single student to utilize prior to the start of school year. So if you're getting a Chromebook from the district, of course, we want you to sign into the Chromebook. And we put the guidelines here for student sign in. Now, we're saying this about the Chromebook, but you can use any laptop device or tablet in order to sign in and access My Launchpad and Canvas and the other tools we mentioned. So as long as you have a computer or a tablet, and when I say a tablet, probably an iPad or an Android tablet, you'll be able to access your resources. And we have the My Launchpad, which is a shortcut that will allow you, as we mentioned earlier, to get to all of your resources. Now, with that being said, all of your teachers will have signed a Getting to Know Canvas module. And with the purpose of this module is for you to get familiar with the platform of Canvas. But the big thing is we want all students to complete a little quick assignment within Canvas for your teacher. This lets the teacher know that you're able to access the resources and you're able to submit work to them. And what the teachers will do, if you have any problems or if you have students who have not been able to complete that assignment, they'll reach out to those students before the start of the school year to make sure that they're ready when we start things up on September 8th. And we have our textbooks. So we want to have all students access in elementary McGraw-Hill and Gallup-Aid for their resources. And our secondary students, they'll have their resources. They have their Savvas, they'll have their McGraw-Hill, and other resources that they can utilize there. And the last thing we want them to do is have this completed by August 31st, which is like a little checklist we want them to be able to complete. So just sign off on all those things. But if they have any issues or concerns, on this flyer that we're passing out at your schools, it has a list of support numbers or email addresses. Each school has a dedicated support line and a dedicated support email to address your concerns, because we know, hey, we all have some issues, we all have some concerns when we start using technology. We want to make sure we can provide immediate, real-time support to you. So on the back of this form that you'll receive from your school, it has the support line, support email for each school that we would like for you to utilize for support. That's the best way we can get resources to you. All right, so we're going to have open houses at each of our schools. During this time, it will be virtual. And so Monday, August 31st, we will have our elementary. September 2nd, we'll have middle. And September 3rd will be our high school virtual open house. Great time to see everything that each school is going to be able to offer your child for this school year. All right, so we've gone through a lot of different things today, but we want to make sure that your questions are getting answered. So once again, we have the link on the screen right now. Make sure that you are submitting your questions, and we're going to have some time to answer any questions, comments, concerns that you have during this time period. So go ahead and get those questions in. We're here to answer those questions for you. Let's go ahead and get those questions in. Now, one thing as we're waiting for the questions to come in, as we go through and try to make sure we can provide all the resources to each parent, there are some parents who did not get a chance prior to our device rollout to request a Chromebook or a hotspot. Right now, we are going to work to make sure we can meet your needs for a device, for a Chromebook. But right now, if you get to a school and you did not previously request a hotspot, we do have a form that you can complete on site. And when you complete that, it'll give us that information. And as soon as we get some additional hotspots in, we'll be able to deploy those to your child. So once again, if you did not request anything ahead of time, no worries. We're still going to try to make sure that every student in our district has the resources that they need for digital learning. So once again, go to the schools. They'll make sure they'll take care of you and give you the resources that they need. All right, some of the questions that are coming in. Someone wants to know, where can they access the sample schedules? All right, the sample schedule will be found on the FAQ portion of our website, and you can find all the schedule information that you need there. All right, someone's wondering about high school textbooks. I'm glad that's a really good question. A lot of our textbooks are going to be available online through the devices, so you'll be able to access a lot of your resources utilizing My Launchpad. But the high schools will deploy textbooks to students. They'll happen after they have finalized schedules within a week or two. So textbooks will be deployed, will be issued to students, but this will be after the start of the school year once schedules have been finalized. But students will be able to access all the textbooks that they need through our digital platforms. All right, someone wants to know, will they be able to pick up their workbooks/textbooks from the schools? Well, that's what's going on right now at our elementary schools today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. You'll be able to pick up your resources at your elementary school, so middle or high. So I encourage you, please check your school's website for the details about when and when to pick them up and what you'll be picking up. So once again, please check your school's websites for the details for your particular child on where to pick up your workbooks or textbooks for your school. All right, someone wants to know if they have any technology questions, what should they do? We will provide each school a technology support email link and a phone number. If you don't have that immediately, we will have that posted on our website, but also each school will have that on the back of that checklist that I mentioned earlier. You'll be able to utilize that form to contact technology support, and we'll try to get that information to you within 24, 48 hours. We'll try to make sure we can answer those questions. And there will be individuals who will be manning those after the business hours of the day. So they will be answering email support after the 8 to 5 days. So please make sure that you are still sitting those in, and they'll respond to those as soon as humanly possible. All right, get some additional questions in. All right, we're pulling in the questions now. One moment. Okay. All right, as the questions are coming in, I'm gonna pass the baton over to Ms. Fury.
One of the questions that popped up is returning to school face-to-face. And just to give a little bit of information about returning to school face-to-face. First, the most important thing is the health and safety of our students and our staff. And so we are constantly looking at the data that is available to us. And I'm going to just quickly run through that. I look at, and not just me, but I partner with the local health department and consult with other medical professionals. And we look at the 14-day case rate, the number of cases in our community, hospitalizations, emergency room visits, that are related to COVID-19, the 7-day moving average, and then I use Harvard Global Health Institute's website that looks at the data. It's lagging. It's about 2 days behind what's posted in Georgia. It's a validation of what's going on in Georgia, and then they break it out into levels. And so there's red, orange, yellow, and green. And so we're looking at all of these pieces of evidence to arrive at the totality of what's going on in our community, not not Georgia as a whole, but just in Newton County. And so those kinds of that information helps us determine whether or not we need to remain virtual or move, or we can begin moving to a face-to-face environment. And what happens is I'm looking for not any one pinpoint of information. I forgot to mention level of positivity as well. And I'm not looking only at the rate of positivity in our community. I'm looking at the totality of evidence. And when I say I'm talking about not just me by myself, but a team of people who look at the data. And what we're looking for is downward trends. And so if and when we return to face-to-face environment, you will still have the choice to remain virtual. So for our secondary students, for example, if they've signed up for the self-paced virtual option, that is a semester-long choice, and that's really for 6 through 12, and it has to do with the way that credits are assigned. And so those students in the self-paced model, whether we transition to face-to-face or not, will matter not for them. They will need to stay put for the entire semester. Those students who selected face-to-face as an option to begin with, we will work with them as we begin to phase in a transition back to a face-to-face environment. But the option 2, which is the school base, where you're working with one of our teachers, that will continue to remain in effect. And so obviously, I recognize, and our team at the school system recognizes, and parents, you do too, that the best environment for our kids is to be face-to-face with their teachers. It's just an all-around better environment, but it has to be safe in our community. It has to be a priority for our community to help reduce the transmission rate of this virus in our community. And that means that we have to do some things that we might not want to do. And one of them is to wear a mask. The health officials in our own hospital have said wearing a mask is the most important thing that we could do, followed second by maintaining your distance. Don't get close to people. Stay at least 6 feet apart, especially if you're not wearing a mask. You can't be closer than 6 feet for 15 minutes or more. Otherwise, you become a contact if that person is identified to have a positive COVID test. And then, of course, wash your hands and use hand sanitizer regularly. And if everyone in our community will just do those things, we'll get back to things as close to normal as we possibly can. But our options will remain available for the self-paced. You'll need to stay in the self-paced environment for the semester. Option 2 with our school system teachers leading the virtual option. And then, of course, as we're thinking about moving back to a face-to-face model, it'll be a phased-in model. It won't be everybody all at one time. It will be groups of students, and then there'll be time in between those groups reporting so that we can monitor what's happening in our community and the impact on our environment and our community transmission in our schools. So with that being said, I'm going to jump it back over to Dr. File.
Thank you, Ms. Ferry. All right, a question was asked, do children have to be on the camera during the entire school day? They do not have to be on camera for the entire school day. And one of the things that you'll find out utilizing Zoom and other platforms like this, they do hog a lot of bandwidth on your computers, on your network. So if you have multiple students in the home at the same time utilizing Zoom, it may work better if they do disable their camera and just have their audio on when the teacher allows that. So no, students do not have to be on camera the entire school day. We're not going to force students to have on their camera in their classroom, but we do want those students to be participating in their actual sessions. Someone asked the question, how do they know, how will they know, or how will their child be penalized for attendance if they cannot get connected? We understand that right now that with connectivity, with technical issues, that students may not be able to get connected during the time that they're supposed to. The biggest thing that we're asking, have that communication with your parent, with the teacher, so the teacher is aware. And also, as I mentioned, we do have the technology support information that's going to be published for each school site. And so you'll be able to get that information to us, and we will be able to make the appropriate adjustments to that. So if you aren't able to get access, just let us know and we'll be able to reach out and be supportive of you, because we know we have to be flexible right now. That's the biggest thing. Flexibility is key with what we're doing. We're asking that you're patient with us just as we're patient with you as we all go through this new normal that we're in. If you have not, someone wants to know, can they still get a Chromebook if they did not submit one? Yes. Which the best steps to do is contact your school. Once you contact your school, they can add you to the list, and then we'll be able to deploy a Chromebook. Right now, if your school is deploying devices and you did not sign up for a Chromebook, we'll still be able to find the need, produce your need, fill your need for a Chromebook. The issue that we will probably run into is hotspot requests, but we do have a form that you could fill out, and you'll be on the list when we get our next round of hotspots in about 5 to 7 business days. We're looking to produce some additional hotspots for the stakeholders that we need. But also, in addition to that, we are working with some of our local partners to provide additional internet access. We received a grant from the state to have multiple wireless hotspots arranged at locations throughout the district. And so we're currently working to compile a list for the best locations to provide additional access points to families throughout our county. So in addition to the hotspots, we are always looking for new features, new resources to provide additional access to our families in the district as we go through this virtual learning model. All right, so the virtual learning checklist, someone wants to know where can they find that? When you go pick up your resources at your school, the virtual learning checklist should be provided with your resources. If it's not provided to you at your location, we will also have that available on the district website as well. So the virtual learning checklist can be picked up at your school. We'll also have that available on the district website later today. So if that's not available at your school, we'll have that out there to you. We want to make sure everyone has it, gets the opportunity to sign into those resources. And if they have any questions, they're able to follow those up with someone from technology. Nope. I'm passing it back to Ms. Fury, everybody.
The question is, can my son stay virtual even after school opens, as I have a special needs high risk son, and until everything is safe, I don't feel comfortable with him returning to school? And the answer to that question is absolutely. We're going to work with you, Mom, or Dad, to try to make sure that you feel comfortable, especially given the fact that some of our kids cannot wear masks, and we know that masking is the safest thing for our kids and for our staff members as they enter our schools. So if you have special circumstances, we are going to do everything we can to support you and to support our parents and students as we transition back into the school environment. Will Wednesdays be a shorter day? I don't think that Wednesdays are a shorter day. I think every day is the same time frame, but you can find that out for sure by looking on our frequently asked questions document located on our webpage, and the schedules for elementary, and there's sample schedules. There'll be some flexibility within the time frames. When teachers begin teaching, they'll give more information about how their classes will operate, but the every day is the same time frame, and so you can look on the webpage at the FAQ document to figure out exactly what a model or a sample schedule will look like for your students. For the self-paced students, we will be using the Edgenuity platform, and that information is also on our website in our frequently asked questions document as well. We've also heard from multiple folks, I think, in the virtual land, that you're having problems posting questions. If you'll take a moment to refresh, we certainly want to do our best to answer the questions that you might have. But we're getting questions in, so I'm not sure how we can help you in this environment on your end, because we don't know what's happening on your end. But believe me, if you have a question, you certainly can send it to anybody on our team to get an answer, or give us a call and we'll do our best to walk you through in the event that your question wasn't able to make it through. But we've done some troubleshooting on our end to make sure that Our documents are wide open, so you shouldn't have to be logging in. You shouldn't have to go through another platform. You should be able to go to the link and post your question, and we should be able to see it almost in real time. So if you're having problems, we're doing everything we can on our end to try to help. Another question just came through. What is the weekly schedule for students? And if you'll go to our website, to our frequently asked questions document, what you will find is this question answered with sample schedules. So you'll be able to go to the website and it's actually there. And then once school begins, the teachers will have some flexibility about how they operate within their time frame. Where's the parent resource page that was posted, and where do I find the checklist? The parent resource page is located on Canvas, and so you'll need to go to our learning management system, and you will find the parent resource page, which is where we'll post all of these videos. And I think the checklist is there as well on the parent resource page on Canvas. And please join us on Saturday, August the 29th for our Parent University, and that we will give a whole lot more information about our Canvas page for parents, our resource page for parents, as well as the August 31st checklist.
This is a question that we also had earlier. Someone asked about our ClassWise tool that we utilize for teachers to be able to view student devices. Let me say this, that our observation and monitoring of the device happens during our school hours for personal devices, and it happens all the time for any of our district devices. Any computer or any resource that's checked out from the school system is school system property, so we do have to, by law, monitor all of the access and all of the things that happen on those devices. All that data is secure within our district, but it is something that we do monitor and check, not only for to keep your child safe, but we want to make sure that there's no cyberbullying or any of those things occurring on our district devices. So we do have filters and tools in place on our district devices. We do not put any software on personal devices to monitor what your child's doing on those devices there. As we get additional questions that are coming in, the link is going to stay live. So as additional questions are coming in, they'll be answered on our frequently asked questions document that's published on our website. We know, once again, that this is an ever-changing platform, and there'll be more questions that are coming in, and we could be here all day answering all the questions, and that's what we do. But if you go ahead and put those in, we'll answer those as best as possible on our frequently answered document that's out there. Okay? So we want to make sure that you join us today at 6 for a repeat of this session. So if you had a friend who wasn't able to make it today, let them know that this is going to happen all over again at 6 p.m. today. And we'll start tomorrow with our new session at 10 a.m. So thank you for attending our session on getting connected with virtual learning. Parents, students, everybody out there watching, have a great day.